I'm Chris. That's Tyler. And today is a loaded show. Not even going to ask how you're doing. Going to jump straight into the news that kind of a little bit, not earth-shattering, but definitely a unique thing that kind of popped out of nowhere. Eric Dickerson came out and said on the radio, was it Woken Show, whatever show it was, that the NFL was telling teams not to draft Shedeur Sanders, and that the Browns kind of defied that and drafted him. Now, there was the conspiracy going around that this may have been the case, that it may have been collusion to kind of make an example out of him. It never made sense to me. It still doesn't really make sense to me. But it is funny hearing all of these things popping out, right?
Yeah, I don't know how to feel, to be honest with you, about it. It's a big show.
Mm-hmm.
You call it Big J journalism.
Big J journalism.
But I don't know how I feel about it, because the problem is it's not even really Eric Dickerson's fault. But I think recently there's been a lot of former athletes, old heads, as we call them, popping off just saying whatever.
What the fuck ever.
You know, so it's like, how much of this can we take that's real? How much is not? My rule of thumb is always that the truth is somewhere in the middle.
That's fair. And honestly, this is something that could get embellished. Like, it could become like, oh, people in the NFL don't really love Deion and the antics, and that could make its way through the chain and turn into don't draft Shedeur Sanders, right?
Was Deion a first ballot Hall of Famer? Not that this has anything to do with how the NFL feels.
I believe he was, but I honestly don't know, Tyler. That's like a random question. I would assume so, given that he's the most iconic corner ever, right? Like him and Terrell Revis, I think, are the two.
Like, is Deion Sanders really not liked? That's
where I keep going with
he's
this.
Like a beloved former player.
That's where I go, because I don't view it as antics. Like, he's a former player who's a superstar who, no matter how you feel about him, went into a very successful job as a head coach in college. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like that doesn't feel like someone that they would hate. Like, it makes sense for the NFL to hate Antonio Brown, right?
Correct.
Like, it makes sense for him like to not like that. But the Sanders thing, unless you feel like he puts himself ahead of the Shield, then you can maybe feel away and be petty about him. But fuck, he's a receiver. Receivers put themselves ahead of the Shield. I mean, corners put themselves ahead of the Shield.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it doesn't fit.
Right.
The Sanders family, it doesn't feel like the Sanders family has that, level of disdain. I mean, to sabotage a kid's draft status, like, I do think that if, like, the reports of the Giants meetings with Shedeur and how poorly they went, I think were also a little exaggerated, but also probably some level of truth to that.
And can I add to that?
Sure.
I wonder if the Giants brass felt like they had to exaggerate it to justify taking Jackson Dart, because the whole draft process through, it was those two, right?
Yeah, who was QB2?
Yeah, it was who was QB2, and it was Shedeur and Cam Ward were those first two, and then there was a gap. And it's like the Giants, almost maybe rightfully or wrongfully so, needed to convince their New York media, hey, look, Jackson Dart is that much better. I think there is collusion in the NFL. I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a little bit of collusion with maybe some first round stuff. But I think above the collusion, I think owners care more about winning than they care about protecting the Shield.
They care about winning, and they also care about making money.
Yeah, but it is bad.
Shedeur is making the Browns money,
right? And I don't want to ignore. I don't want to ignore the Eric Dickerson thing, because it's definitely like kind of eye popping. Because again, like he wouldn't say that. I believe he would not say that unless he absolutely heard it.
Yeah, but I mean, with all due respect, and I know that you're a Giants fan, but the way that the Giants handled the Saquon Barkley thing, and with it being so public on Hard Knocks, are we really going to listen to what the Giants say about how to handle?
Oh, no. No. The Giants are horrendous. I mean, New York media is horrendous. Like they operate. They have to sensationalize things to like garner support. But like, I don't know. Like, there's other teams that needed quarterbacks that passed on quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I you know, the quarterbacks that were taken above Shedeur, like Will Howard was taken above Shedeur. Dylan Gabriel was taken above Tyler Shuck.
Here we go. But when you say it like that, Tyler, that makes me think, oh shit, this makes sense. And I, for one,
that's
when
true.
When I scrolled through it, I heard the quote, immediately went to refresh Pablo Torre Finds Out, who is the best investigative journalism in the NFL circle, because he's dropped 4 or 5 pieces detailing and exposing some big time collusion in the NFL. Now, the collusion and stuff that's going on in the NFL was never about like a draftable player, but there is a history of collusion in the NFL. And if I am trying to make sense of why Shedeur slid so much, it would make sense. I just wonder if you would get universal buy-in, I guess, is the other part of it. Because that's what it would take, right? Like, alleging this is one thing. You would need universal buy-in from every team.
Yeah, and I just don't think that you're going to get that. Like, as much as we've been told that it's about the shield and the owners are always about the shield and it's about the league and blah 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 blah, these guys also like want to win and they want to make money, and they're also very super successful businessmen with very very large egos, and they think that they know better. And so get 30 guys of that magnitude to like all agree, I don't know, man. It's just, to me, it just seems so tinfoil hat.
It's one of the frick, dude. I hate doing this. It's tinfoil hat, but it lines up, and that's what bugs me.
Yeah, and like,
because Haslam making sure he got in front of a camera and said, I did not want to draft Shedeur. I made sure I made sure the message was, I didn't want to draft Shedeur. That makes like that's like in line with the messaging, almost like he's taking heat from other owners, and he comes out, it's like, no, guys, this is what I didn't want to draft Shedeur. It was my GM. He did it.
Well, Jimmy Haslam throwing Andrew Berry under the bus is probably like as easy as breathing.
Oh, yeah, literally. Did the sun come up? Yes. Is it Andrew Berry's fault? Yes.
Yeah. And so I'm not calling Jimmy Haslam a liar. I'm also not saying that Jimmy Haslam just speaks freely and truthfully all of the time. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of like, he lives in the gray.
I do believe there's collusion in the NFL. I think more collusion has to do with contracts than anything else. I think they did try to collude with Lamar Jackson during that whole saga.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that happen in the NFL that we'll never know about until somebody pissed off writes a nice fat book.
Yeah,
but
they might die before that book comes out.
Correct. I mean, the NFL is
a multi-billion-dollar machine.
Yeah,
the NFL is literally comprised of 30 businesses, all worth over $1 billion. Think about that, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you don't have something so massive without
this, without the threat of collusion,
without some dark secrets, some back deals, behind the scenes deals. None of that. It all is part of it, and I don't want to believe Eric Dickerson. I think more than anything, but I also think that it's not. I don't think it's all false, and I don't think it's all true.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like. I think it'd be great to set an example if this kid fell in the draft and like those murmurs go around. I don't think there was like some blood oath where we all sit in a circle, we cut each other's hands open, we hold hands and say we will not draft Shedeur. So it definitely is a story, but also like here we go, where he is. There's a lot of noise around him, and I'll give the kid a lot of credit. Colluded with or not, conspiracy or not, he's got to Cleveland, and we've heard only the right things. Right, only the right things.
It's the most media trained kid I've ever seen. Almost.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't say anything wrong ever.
No.
And
but he also doesn't. It doesn't like seem like a square. Like it doesn't come across as like coach speak.
No.
But it also like he doesn't say anything wrong.
It's very authentic.
He works hard. He works really hard.
Yeah. He's authentic. You know, he wears his hat backwards. He, you know, wears the big chains, and like he is who he is, and he's very comfortable in his own skin, and he talks the way he wants to talk, and he says what he wants to say. And he also always understands who he's talking to and what he's being asked. He comes across as very thoughtful, and when he answers, you know, he's off the field as of right now. He checks all of the boxes.
Right.
You know, do I think he's a 5th round talent? No, I think he's way better than a 5th round talent, which is why I'm not grading, which is why my expectations are not of a 5th round quarterback.
Yeah, you do have bigger expectations for him than you did Dillon Gabriel, even though Dillon was drafted first. And I wonder if that same messaging is like echoed through the Browns brass echo chamber.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, we talked about it on Monday's show. Dillon Gabriel is a career backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't he Little Marcus?
That's the ceiling.
Little Marcus Mariota?
Yeah.
Same school? Not a pro offense. I know it's 2 different times, 2 different OCs.
He's a worse armed Tua.
Yeah. And I have my opinions about Tua that I'm saving for post fantasy draft because I don't want to tip my hand or whatever. Me and Tyler are playing fantasy football again. I'm looking to go back to back. I beat Tyler last year, and then I sent him a video of me laughing at him while I beat him.
See, those are things you just don't need to say out loud.
Well, it's important because it's part of our look. Here's the thing: we have our show storyline, but we have our personal storyline. What I did. You want to tell him what I did, or do you want me to tell him what I did?
No, I don't want to talk about what you did.
I cut up highlights of every player on his team, and I put it to a Lamar Jackson song or a Kendrick Lamar song. A Kendrick Lamar song, and it was not enough. And every one of his players flashed up on screen. It's not enough. How he lost with Lamar Jackson and Amon-Ra and Saquon Barkley, I'll never know. Anyway, want to move ahead on Shedeur.
Listen, I didn't lose. My players stunk.
They got to play better. It's like
they got to play better.
You just got to play better. But you had the number 1 running back, the number 1 quarterback, and the number 1 wide receiver in all fantasy, and you lost. It's actually incredible. What David and Goliath,
and the number 2 tight end.
Yeah, you're embarrassing.
I'm not embarrassed. I didn't lose. Yeah. They got to play better.
Oh man,
I could not have picked a better team.
Yeah, I mean, you could have. I don't know what you could have done. You'd be lost. Shedeur got asked about the Dillon Gabriel comments, and it's fascinating because I thought he did a good job with answering while also kind of letting us know where his head is. He got asked if he said that Dillon Gabriel came to him on the plane and said that it was not about him. And he said, okay. And he also addressed the media and said, at this point, words won't hurt me. He then got asked if he believes Dillon Gabriel when he said it wasn't about him. He said, do I feel like he did? I don't know. And then went on later to say, you're trying to start something, to the media member that asked. Translate that, Tyler.
Shedeur Sanders definitely feels a certain type of way about this. I think I don't know if Shedeur Sanders believes Dillon Gabriel.
I don't think he does. The way he said, do I feel like he did? I don't know. And got asked directly does he believe when he says that, like that tells me that
Yeah, I mean, this Shedeur Sanders is at the point right now where I think that he's also trying to create narratives in his head to give him that extra chip on his shoulder.
I agree with you. I don't think this one is in his head.
It's an easy one. It's like a layup. It's like I don't have to really manufacture this.
Yeah, well,
even if I don't think he was talking about me, it's easy for me to make it seem like it is. It's like he's believing his own lie.
And you know what? This is why I push back at that. When we see guys that dig into that kind of mindset, it's never about their own teammate. Sure. That's the unique element to this.
Sure. No doubt.
Because this being about your own teammate, someone you're in the room with, when easily you could be like, no, Dillon's my guy. We talk all the time. Obviously we're in meeting rooms. Yeah, I believe him. It's good. like even when you're in competition, you always hear quarterbacks kind of take that approach. I mean, going back to college, like Kyle McCord and Devin Brown speak very highly of each other at all times. And we know that there was some tension during the quarterback battle. And like now we're in the NFL, you're supposed to be pros. And I've never heard guys like almost like phantom jab at each other. So I don't think I think he legit feels like there was either some shade there or he feels some friction elsewhere with Dylan Gabriel to the point where he's not willing to come out and say, no, that's my guy. Like, I absolutely believe him.
I want to put yourself in the shoes of Dylan Gabriel for a second. Not that I'm exonerating. I'm not siding with him. I'm just trying to see through both eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Dylan Gabriel. I got drafted ahead of him. I had a better college career than him. I did all these things, yada, yada, yada. And all I got to do is when I turn on the TV or turn on my car, everybody's talking about how he's better than me, blah, 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 blah. Would that make you feel a certain type of way too?
It would make me feel a type of way if I didn't think he was better than me. And if I didn't think like, here we go. Do you think Dylan Gabriel, if you held a gun to Dylan Gabriel's head, Dylan Gabriel, you got to answer this truthfully or else it's over. Are you going to get drafted ahead of Shedeur? What would he have said?
Probably not.
So this Shedeur, I hear what you're saying in terms of like, yeah, I'm supposed to be the guy that gets more looks. But that was really just because this popped out of nowhere. This is a surprise to me because during the whole draft process, I thought Shedeur was going to get drafted ahead of me anyway.
No, I that's true. I'm just saying it's human nature
to have some resentment. Yeah.
To have some resentment when everybody's talking disrespectfully about me, even though I'm the one that was drafted first ahead of him. This team drafted me first. They chose me over him. And none of y'all, and I haven't even played a snap yet. And you're all feeling a certain type of way.
Then say it before you take a snap and look like ass.
True.
Because here's the thing. You went out there harboring all this resentment. You looked bad. And then you had an evil smirk at the camera and made the comment that kind of is in the echo chamber of like things that we have heard tie with Shedeur. And obviously, like we've heard Dan Lanning talk about Colorado, who was your college head coach.
Listen, no doubt about it. No doubt.
Tyler, I have a serious question. You're a pretty competitive guy, right?
I would say so.
When things weren't going your way, did you ever smile on the bench?
No.
I was mad as fuck when things didn't go my way. I was not smiling. So you harbor all this resentment and someone asks you a question and you got a little smirk on your face. And I know people are going to let you kind of squirt free out of this, which is natural. If I'm Shedeur, I'm looking at you like, wait, I'm not the guy.
You know what's crazy though? You know what's more revealing is I don't think Dylan Gabriel thinks he played bad.
Here we go. The rules of Tyler and Chris. What do we want number one above everything else?